Welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Araceli, and this is my co-host, Ronda.
Hi guys, I'm Ronda, and today we're going to be starting with the opening, how Raw was decided to open, which was Triple H and HBK coming out and pretty much talking about what happened
At the Super Showdown in Melbourne, Australia.
And they were saying that they pretty much lost all respect for The Undertaker and Kane for what they did.
And basically they announced a tag match. It will be DX versus the Brothers of Destruction at the Crown Jewel in November.
Yeah, which should be super exciting. One thing, because Shawn Michaels is finally returning into ring action again after he retired with Undertaker a couple WrestleManias ago.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this match goes. I know this is DX's first match back in a really, really long time. It's going to be quite interesting, and I can't wait to see it. It's what happened at the Super Showdown really, it was pretty obvious that something else was going to go on, because you don't just have that type of ending and then not have anything happen.
And not only that, it was a perfect setup to bring back DX and the Brothers of Destruction. You know, just because of that rivalry that exists between Triple H, Shawn Michaels,
and The Undertaker.
And The Undertaker. Now they threw in Kane, which I thought it was
brilliant.
It was a brilliant setup, like I said. I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with me, and most of you guys too, that this match should have been at Survivor Series. It would have been perfect.
I agree. I do agree with that. 100%.
Okay. So now moving on to the first match of the night, which was Lashley versus Kevin Owens.
Obviously, they both start off with quickness. We know the athleticism of both these athletes. You know, Bobby Lashley and Kevin Owens, they're absolutely incredible. And they both started off with speed. And that's what they both kind of just specialize.
One thing that really didn't make the matches great was the fact that Lio Rush was out there with the mic, constantly talking and constantly distracting not only, Lashley.
Commentary, but he was distracting Lashley and Kevin Owens, and I think that's what played a huge factor in why Kevin Owens lost this match, because we do see at some point that he goes after Lio Rush, and it's just he has had enough, and he was over it. I was over it. Hopefully, this is a one-time thing, because I cannot stand him.
Yeah, pretty much him talking during the match and trying to commentate wasn't really that great. I feel that at some point it was kind of annoying.
It was.
So I don't know if you guys feel the same way about it, but it's just it's probably because we're not used to that. I think Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley was great, just because Bobby Lashley doesn't have the mic skills.
He needed somebody there to push him to a different level, to say.
Yeah.
And not that he can't do it himself, it's just that wrestling-wise, he's there. He can show up, he can do his job. But in the mic skills, I think him having a manager was brilliant. I think it's going to help him out in different ways.
Yeah, it's just that's probably one of the things he's got to work on. He lacks on microphone skills.
Which is something Kevin Owens has, that he's very, very strong at. Overall, the match was great. I liked it. I just think that Lio Rush did take away from the match. I think it just made it less entertaining, per se.
And like we said, Lio Rush was pretty much distracting Kevin Owens. And that
the whole time.
That ended up costing him. Also, another thing, too, that plays huge in this factor is the creativity of Kevin Owens. Like I said, I keep saying it week after week after week. He's just so amazing in the ring, what he does, and he's always a step ahead of everybody. And
that's true, and that plays a huge role in his character and his career. For those of you that don't know, he did suffer a knee injury, I believe it was. He will be out for 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, which it sucks, because I think he should have been in, the title picture. He deserved an opportunity, and I think him quitting and coming back into WWE was because they had plans and they had major things that they wanted to do with him.
But hopefully when he comes back stronger than ever and ready to just kick some butt. And hopefully he'll be in the title picture when he comes back.
Especially, too, because they had partnered him with Elias, and both of you thought it was a great duel.
It was brilliant.
That the chemistry was there, and they were just getting along fine. It sucks that Kevin Owens got injured, but it is what it is.
All right, Elias. He finally got to perform. I want to say completely, just because he was actually out there before he got interrupted by Ronda Rousey and the Bellas. They were going up against the Riott Squad. So Liv and Brie do start off this match, and you could immediately see Liv Morgan go after Brie Bella, kind of like if she was trying to get revenge, or kind of like, all right, you put me in the sidelines for about a week. Now I'm back. And you can tell she was really giving it at her. The only reason why Brie even got all this hate was because she's a Bella. That's pretty obvious, because would it had been somebody else, it would have been like, oh, it's an accident. But since she was a Bella, it was kind of more talked about than it should have, I think.
And like you said, Liv was kind of upset, but at the same time wanted to get their revenge on Brie, so she came out aggressive, trying to show her, like, look, I'm here, what you did wasn't right.
And that made the match a lot more interesting. Not that it wasn't, but
it made it personal. It made it personal because Brie, even though it was an accident, pretty much jeopardized Liv's career, because we all know that head injuries and neck injuries are always crucial.
Yeah, they're very, very dangerous. You can't come back from something like that, It's something that really takes away from your career.
And I'm surprised that WWE let her wrestle, it being a couple weeks out. Usually they're a lot more stricter with concussions, with head injuries. I was expecting her to come back towards like Evolution, if anything.
Maybe it wasn't that serious. Maybe it was like, okay, she had a minor concussion, but even then, they would still keep her out. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell it was a real injury, though, because you can see her get knocked out in the match. So it wasn't like it was a work or something. But Liv Morgan is okay. So, Ronda Rousey, again, is super eager to get in the ring. When she does, she's absolutely incredible. Improvement. Every single week, she is getting better. And I feel like that's what makes her a good champion, that she wants to be there and she wants to be better than what she was before.
And like you said, the willing that she wants to get in the ring, like constantly wanting a tag, means that she feels that she wants to be there. She's very passionate about it too. Another thing too that I'm very impressed was Nikki hasn't lost a beat. I mean, ever since she came back, she's just been up there and been performing at an elite level. Again, why she is Nikki Bella and why they are such successful.
Exactly. And overall, the match was great, but I do want to emphasize on Nikki. Obviously, the Bellas ended up turning on Ronda Rousey at the end of the match. Ronda was kind of confused. No sign of Natty anywhere. Natty is nowhere to be found. But the Bellas did turn, and then later on it was confirmed that it was going to be Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship at Evolution. Personally, in my own personal opinion, I think Nikki, if there's anybody that deserves this match and to headline that pay-per-view, is definitely Nikki Bella. Of course, there's a lot of hate going around because, hey, she doesn't deserve it because she was a diva. First of all, without the divas, there would be no Women's Evolution. And that comes from Paige, the Bellas, and I think Emma were the ones that were in that match that actually took place, that started the Give Divas a Chance movement. So, hey, she's successful. She's a great representation of the woman in the WWE that can show that women outside of WWE can do more than just wrestle. Because if you look at it, women outside of WWE don't really become, like, big movie stars, or they don't really do much. You don't really hear much about them when they're not in the WWE. Yeah. And I think Nikki has done a really good representation, opening the doors and really representing what women can do in the WWE other than wrestle.
Yeah, because they have their own show, they have their own brand. But falling back on the wrestling part, I mean, their careers since they started, they pretty much made an impact, and ever since then, they've been pretty much carrying the women's division. And like you said, they were a huge part
Of the women's evolution.
And whether you like it or not, it's just, you got to give them credit because they were a huge part of it since day one.
Exactly. And she completely deserves this match. Whether she wins or not, she deserves to be part of Evolution. And she deserves this match.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, Nikki 100% deserves this. Win or lose, she deserves it. And people have to start giving her credit where credit is due. She's done so much for the women's evolution, as Paige, as everybody else. But honestly, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Bellas.
And another one that we can't skip is Ruby Riott. Again, week after week, she's just doing amazing things in the ring. Not only is she improving, but it's just she's growing. She's growing as a wrestler. You know, I think the one that needs a little bit more opportunity in my eyes is Sarah Logan.
It's not that she needs more opportunity, it's that she needs more time in the ring to showcase what she can really do. She has two great, I guess I want to say role models, but not really role models. Two great partners that can really, really help her out. And I think Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan are doing that for Sarah Logan.
And going back on the reason why Natty didn't come out and help Ronda, I think it's because she's also stuck in the middle. You have the Brellas that are her longtime best friends. They're in Total Divas. And then on top of that, with Ronda, she's also helping Ronda out, training her in the performance center and being there for her.
Makes sense.
In the ring, you know. So it was just like, she was kind of put in the middle.
I just want to put this out there. As soon as WWE uploaded that video of the Bellas turning on Ronda, 24 hours later, it was already at 1 million views. And that right there is the reason why Ronda and Nikki Bella are going to main event Evolution.
Well, yeah, because they're the money makers. Everybody wants to see what's going on with Ronda.
Exactly.
You know, not only with Ronda, but also the Bellas, because how popular they are now. We see them show up in red carpet and talk shows, but especially mainly because with Ronda. You have two of the biggest stars right now in female wrestling in WWE.
And it's funny because everybody claims to hate the Bellas, but we've been to their meet and greets. Those lines go crazy. Where are all these people coming from if everybody hates the Bellas? At the end of the day, everybody's going to stand in line. At the end of the day, everybody's going to watch the main event and everybody's going to watch the match. And that's all that matters.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the next match, which was Finn Balor and Bayley versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. Again, seeing a rematch pretty much of the Mixed Match Challenge.
Exactly. Alicia finally getting some TV time. I'm glad for that. Bayley, same thing. We haven't seen her in a while. She's kind of just been hiding out, coming out with Finn ever since Sasha got injured.
Again, I think these four superstars they're the ones that are pretty much lost in Raw. They really haven't had much opportunity. We know Bayley, once she became champion, she hasn't really been up to her full potential. Really hasn't had the opportunity. Same thing with Finn Balor. Jinder Mahal moving to Raw didn't work out neither. And it's just Alicia Fox. She's starting to get more of the TV time, more in-ring action.
You took all the words out of my mouth. Every single one of them. All right. Baron Corbin then comes out because he's promoting the World Cup tournament that's happening at
Saudi Arabia. He pretty much is creating a tournament to see who's the best wrestler in the world. And he made the tournament in Raw to see who's going to qualify and actually compete at Saudi Arabia. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't fair because he inserted himself in there and he pretty much got
jobbers.
And his plan backfired. And the reason why I say backfired because one of the jobbers, I think they called him, what was his name?
I don't remember what his name was, but turns out he
was wearing a mask and
he was the one that was in all gold It was Kurt Angle.
Pretty much it turned out to be Kurt Angle. So it turns out that we have Kurt Angle that qualified, winning the tournament in Raw to qualify for the World Cup.
Which is super weird because if you look at all the competitors, they're all American. And it's supposed to be the World Cup. I was expecting, like maybe Rusev to get in. Cesaro. Andrade. I don't know. Drew McIntyre. A whole bunch of different... Yeah.
International superstars.
Exactly.
Which WWE has.
Exactly. So then I'm like... 3 of the competitors that already qualified are all American. Or are representing America.
And keep in mind, John Cena automatically qualified for the tournament that's going to be held in Saudi Arabia. Now they're adding Kurt Angle. I believe it was Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton that qualified.
So, look at all of them. They're all representing America in one way. So how is it the World Cup? Now hating on anything, but you could have had like Almas on there. You could have had McIntyre, Ziggler. Not Ziggler. Who did I say? Cesaro, Sheamus. There's a whole bunch of superstars they could have added.
Definitely, but I know they're adding Kurt Angle and John Cena just because, again, John Cena and Kurt Angle are the main attraction. Everybody wants to go see them, especially in Saudi Arabia, which that's where I believe the pay-per-view is going to be at. So anyways, moving on to the next match, which was...
Nia Jax versus Ember Moon.
Again, Ember Moon, that's another superstar that we had to keep an eye on ever since she debuted. She's been impressive. And then Nia, you really can't say much about Nia. She's a powerhouse. She's proven herself in the main roster. She became champion.
Exactly.
For a girl her size, she can move. She's super athletic.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think she's an inspiration not only to all the women in the roster, but everybody outside of the WWE.
Exactly. I completely agree with that. Extremely talented. And she has a lot of fans. Believe it or not, she does. I've seen her line at Access. It's absolutely crazy. Ember Moon, incredibly talented. I want to see more of her, though. I want to see more showcase of her in singles matches.
Ember Moon really did take it to Nia Jax, and not a lot of female wrestlers can do that. Can really do that to Nia Jax, taking it to the point where... at the end of the match, Ember Moon made her one by count out.
Exactly.
So that tells you something that Nia Jax, actually struggled to defeat Ember Moon, and that tells you the talent that Ember Moon has.
Exactly. And I don't think we saw Nia like that since Ronda, right? Yeah. She hadn't had that big of a match, I want to say, since Ronda Rousey.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is her second match, I believe. Maybe third. I think
since coming back?
Her second match since coming back from her injury. I think this is her second one.
Something like that.
She didn't look bad, but you can still see that she was struggling with her arm when she got hit by the side of the ring. So...
we'll keep an eye on these two women. Incredible things are coming for them for sure.
And now, moving on to the next segment, Trish Stratus comes out, mainly to promote her match against Alexa Bliss, which we ended up finding out that it was going to be a tag team match, unfortunately. So she's going to be teaming up with her best friend and former rival, Lita, Team Bestie, and Alexa Bliss is going to team up with Mickie James. Which, it should be a good match, but we're all looking forward to see Alexa Bliss versus Trish Stratus, and we can see why they're doing it, because we know that Alexa Bliss, she's injured, so we're pretty much guessing that her injury is more serious than what we all expected. Obviously, they're protecting Alexa Bliss.
Of course, that's pretty obvious. The match overall is still going to be great, because we do know there's 4 incredible women with incredible talent. It's going to be a hell of a match, for sure.
Not only that, but the rivalry that Trish Stratus and Mickie James had, you're kind of reviving it. They both had a lot of history. We know that also Trish and Lita, they had some of the greatest matches
in the history of the women's division.
And that was part of it, of why they became very close friends.
Exactly.
And it's exciting to see women like Trish and Lita face women like Alexa Bliss.
Younger talent, I guess.
Younger talent, because imagine if you were to have Trish and Lita in this roster right now that the women have. I think they still would have... I think they would have done even more than the level of expectation would have been higher for them. They would have raised the bar even higher for the women's division.
I think the division would be on a whole different level. I know I've said this before, but they already have the best women's roster that we've had in the longest time. Adding Trish and Lita to the mix would have been out of this world. Like, never in a billion years.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, it would have been incredible to see them. And we get to see a little bit of that in Evolution.
And I'm looking forward to see that. It's going to be absolutely incredible, guys. And I know everybody wanted a singles match, but a tag match will do, because put together all the rivalries and all the friendships, it makes perfect sense.
Okay, so now moving on to a match was Bobby Roode and Chad Gabriel versus the Ascension. We've been seeing them feud for the past couple weeks. They've been in singles competition, whether it was Chad Gabriel versus Connor or
Victor versus Bobby.
Yeah, so now we actually get to see them together, back again as a tag team, both of them.
I do want to mention that Chad did tag himself in again, and as I've said before, it's the little things. This is what's going to break this team apart.
Yeah, and I think that Bobby looks better than ever, just in the ring from what he's shown. And has been doing a great job carrying, Chad Gabriel. The Ascension, it's a tag team that has been together for a while now. You could tell they've been on the same page ever since the beginning. And you can't tell that with Bobby Roode and Chad Gabriel. It's just that it's still a tag team that's fresh, and I don't think they're on the same page and they don't know exactly what they want. Because like we've been saying in the previous podcast, they've been trying to steal each other's spotlights, especially Chad Gabriel, because if you see when Bobby Roode comes out, right before he says glorious, Chad Gabriel jumps right in front of him all the time. And like you said, he tags himself again.
He's always doing that. And this is what's causing the problems in this tag team. They can't seem to coordinate. Either one is jealous of the other, or they just don't get along in that way.
Yeah. And then during that match, obviously, AOP comes out, trying to make a statement again, putting all the Raw tag
teams on notice and letting them know AOP is coming. They are coming.
Yeah, and then Drake is trying to prove that he is the guy that's going to run AOP. Like we've been saying, we don't think he's the right person. We see somebody else in it. But, again, let's see how that goes. Excited for AOP, what they're going to do. I mean, they took it to the Shield. And like you said, they've been putting the entire roster on notice.
He will prep them, but somebody else will make them tag champs.
Yeah, he'll take them to where they need to be at. But in order for them to be champions, they're going to have to partner with somebody else.
Somebody bigger with better brains. A bigger mentality, who sees outside of the box and who wants the best for these two guys.
Yeah, because even though they're talented and they're great, and like I said, I haven't seen nobody dominate the Shield as AOP has done. And for them, in order to win gold, I think they need somebody else. But yet again, that's our opinion. Maverick might work, or he might not.
Yeah. So far, it looks like he's having them prove statements, which is good. It's a good step in AOP's future career.
Yeah, but as we're seeing, it's all being trios now, so I think they need somebody else that could actually be more relevant with them, and I don't see, pretty much Drake Maverick being that powerhouse.
Moving on to our main event, The Shield versus Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre. incredible match. I think the Shield is now starting to see their defects. We kind of saw that in this match where they're starting to realize, okay, we might not be here longer than what was expected. You know what I mean? And we saw that at the end with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, and again, it was a great match. We saw a lot of constant tags. Again, you know, Ziggler, McIntyre and Strowman being on the same page at certain points of the match. But when they are on the same page, they're just so dominant. They're able to cut off the ring and just not let the Shield do what they do best.
Which is take over. Once they take over, they're pretty much done.
Yeah. It's all over from there, you know. And like I said, this feud, it's going to go for a while, whether it's individually in singles competition or whether it's the trio all together. And like you said, it's the little detail that's pretty much breaking up the Shield, you know.
Yeah.
All those head games that they played with Dean Ambrose, you know, I think he's starting to think about it more. And, you know, who knows, we might see a split of the Shield sooner than, like you said, than we expected.
Exactly. And, again, McIntyre, Ziggler, and Strowman, extremely smart when they are together. They do a great job isolating the Shield from one another.
And I mean, and it was an amazing match, and it's just all 6 superstars are amazing talent. You know, all of those guys could be WWE Universal Champion.
They're all top stars.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's pretty much the top of what Raw has. You know, they're pretty much
the 6 top guys of the business as of right now.
And other than Strowman, I think that McIntyre, like I've been saying, he's the game changer. You know, he's, in my opinion, he is next to be Universal Champion. Yeah, people are going to say, well, you have Seth Rollins, and, you know, but I think it's time to give the opportunity to new talent. And yeah, Seth Rollins deserves it, but in my eyes, I think it should be McIntyre. I think he's complete all around as far as in-ring skills, mic skills.
Dominance inside of the ring.
Yeah. And really makes a statement in each of his matches. You know, we saw it in NXT, and we're seeing some of that over in the main roster.
And I think partnering him up with both Ziggler and Strowman was a brilliant idea. Alright, let's get into SmackDown Live. Sorry guys that I have not been talking as much. I'm still sick. So Armando is doing the majority of the talking.
So please bear with me. Try to do the best I can. So our next match in SmackDown Live, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair open up the show. And again, what a match this was. For me, it was the best match
of the whole show.
Of the whole show, yes. And it was a women's match.
Exactly.
That's again to show you that they can dominate a main event and open the show. They could do everything.
Exactly. These women delivered. They have an incredible feud. They even broke the stage, like the Titantron, not the Titantron because that's at the top, but the stage, the entrance where they came out. They broke it because Charlotte speared Becky through it.
And they're so evenly matched. I mean, this match went back and forth. It was physical.
You really didn't have just one person dominating. It was kind of even at both sides.
Yeah, and then the best part is they were both getting creative with one another just because they know each other so well. And even then, that still wasn't enough. You know, I believe they got 30 minutes. I think it was 20, 30 minutes that they got solid. And overall, it was a good match. And again, this is another one of the SmackDown greatest feuds that they've been having throughout the year. You know, it hasn't felt. I love what they're doing with this.
And the rivalry has been over the top. The booking, the storytelling, everything has been incredible. We are going to see this match again at Evolution in a last woman standing match. It's what it's going to be.
Yeah, which is going to be super exciting because throughout the match we also seen both women get frustrated with one another because they couldn't get the pinfall or submission on each other. You know, I mean, Charlotte and Becky are willing to go above and beyond, go that extra mile to beat each other. I mean, it's not a rivalry anymore. It's personal. It's to see who's better, you know. And I think both of them are just so evenly matched that it's hard to tell. Yeah, Charlotte has proven herself more just because she's got more titles than Becky.
But you can also tell that it's beyond this rivalry and it's beyond the show, that it's personal because they both got counted out. It was a double count out. They didn't care about, at the end of the day, who was going to win. It was more about proving, hey, we are going to show everybody that this is why the women's evolution is happening.
And another factor, too, is that right after the count out, they
continue to beat each other up.
Yeah, it took it to the Titantron that they broke the bottom of the stage. You know, so you could tell that it's not just...
It's beyond personal now.
Yeah.
It's not just business. It has gotten to the point where it is personal. And this was the only women's match of the night.
I mean, yeah, and now that they're going to have the last woman standing match, but, I mean, if they end up having another match down the future, I see them winning via submission. You know, I don't see them winning as pinfall because they're so evenly matched. I think the difference here is going to be submission holds.
Armando and I were talking and we were saying that the Charlotte and Becky Lynch feud reminds us of the Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano feud.
Exactly, just how Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are willing to go
to the extreme.
That's what this feud reminds us of. That it's just, it started off also being friends, and now they have the biggest rivalry down in NXT, and we're seeing a little bit of that in Becky and in Charlotte. Again, that's just our opinion. You guys may agree with this, but I think that it's a perfect example of that feud.
I have to agree with that 100%.
Okay, so now moving on to our next match. Again, we haven't seen this match. You know, another thing that that SmackDown brings is new matches. We
uniqueness.
Saw Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe in a qualifying World Cup match. And again, Jeff Hardy, you know, he's just one of the all-time greats. He was targeting the knee from the beginning because
he knew it was braced. He knew it was injured. He knew he had a bigger opportunity targeting the knee.
Yeah, because Samoa Joe suffered a minor injury
at the hands of AJ Styles.
AJ Styles when he got put through the table. So Jeff Hardy did a fantastic job targeting that.
And Jeff looks fantastic coming back from his match at Hell in a Cell. We know how brutal that match was. This was his first match back. He hasn't lost a beat. Had an incredible match.
Yeah, at the end, Joe couldn't stand up, you know, because of his knee problem. But like you said, we're glad to see Jeff Hardy back after that, you know, injury that he had when he pretty much fell off the cage. I'm not going to say fall off the cage, but, you know, when he was hanging there and...
fell off.
Yeah.
Man, that was horrible.
Yeah.
I can't get that vision out of my head. It was brutal. So Jeff Hardy ended up qualifying for the match. You can tell he kind of wasn't happy just because the match had to end due to the ref stopping it because Samoa Joe couldn't continue.
Yeah, and I mean, it's rare seeing Samoa Joe not being able to continue. We know that he's not a quitter. You know, that we even saw it, that he told the ref not to stop it. Yeah. Stop the match, you know. And what's next for Samoa Joe? I don't know.
Recovery
first. You know, other than that, I don't see him in another title run anytime soon.
No, I agree with you on that, for sure.
If anything, it'll probably be the U.S. Championship, but even then, I still don't see him there. You know, moving on to the next segment, which was Miz TV, you know, featuring Bryan and AJ Styles.
This was basically to describe the match at Crown Jewels. It looks to me that Miz, one way or another, is going to find his way into this match.
Yeah, I mean, knowing Miz, he's probably have something up his sleeve to get himself into the title picture, which most likely, in our opinion, it's probably going to be a triple threat match just because of the stuff he said. And knowing Miz, he wants to be in the match. So he's going to do whatever it takes to be in the match, whether it's getting AJ Styles' head or making AJ and Daniel Bryan attack him.
You can obviously see that he's not happy with the match that is Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. So, knowing him, like you said, he's going to find some way into this match.
Yeah, who knows how, but knowing him, he's going to pretty much get involved. So, moving on to a match, Shelton Benjamin and AJ Styles. Again, Shelton Benjamin, this is his, I believe, second match since he returned. He didn't return, he's just been off TV for a while.
Yeah, the first time he faced Daniel Bryan, now he's facing AJ Styles. The match was fantastic. Shelton Benjamin, giving AJ Styles a fight. AJ Styles has been WWE champion for 346 days.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, not only that, but Benjamin looking good in the ring. Both him and AJ Styles showing their athleticism, and we saw it throughout the match, and just the match was good.
Who's dethroning AJ Styles?
I think the one that's going to dethrone him is going to be The Miz. I think he's going to dethrone him. It either will happen either a crown jewel or...
Sooner. Way sooner.
Or way sooner than that. Like we said, he's pretty creative. He always finds a way to get what he wants.
Exactly, and he wants a WWE Championship. Yeah. He said it on commentary. Yeah. He said it during Miz TV. And hey, I agree. The Miz is dethroning AJ Styles.
And he even called next before everybody else.
Exactly.
So, don't be surprised if The Miz dethrones AJ Styles.
And if he gets a title opportunity very, very soon.
Yeah.
I'm extremely impressed with Shelton Benjamin. Absolutely impressed.
I mean, since he started his career in WWE, he's been impressive all along. I mean, he's had great matches, and I think he's even better than when he was before. He's like more mature. He's got more in-ring experience, and he's been showing it these past couple of weeks where he's been getting the opportunity, and not only that, he's also carrying matches too.
Yeah, he's for sure a top star. Championship, I'd like to see him as a U.S. champion, but for right now, keep him on the down low.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see him as a tag team competitor.
No, definitely not.
You know that didn't work out for him. He would be more successful in singles competition. Again, like about AJ Styles, we're really not going to get into detail because you all know
he's fantastic. He's great.
Why he's called the phenomenal one, and he always delivers, like Seth Rollins. Moving on to another segment, we all wanted to know what happened in Milwaukee with Aiden English and Lana. We saw the first part of the video, but now Aiden English showed us the second part.
And it's still kind of a cliffhanger. So Lana and Rusev come out, and then they're like, hey, you got hacked, and guess what? We saw the full footage. It was nothing.
Yeah, and like we have said before, that anything could happen. It was just, of manipulating Rusev and Lana to get him to do what he wanted. Pretty much, moral of the story is he wants Rusev to be back in his corner without Lana because Aiden English blames Lana for all the failures that Rusev has had.
Exactly.
So moving on to the main event. Again, this match was also for the World Cup
tournament
that's going to happen in Saudi Arabia. And it was Big Show versus Randy Orton.
Again, look who qualified. Randy Orton.
Yeah. Again, we get to saw Big Show. We got to see Big Show after a long, long time of not being on TV and wrestling.
Finally, he's been gone for like ever, and Big Show still got it, guys.
He does, and I mean, he looks better than he's ever looked. He looks more in shape. I know he's been hitting the gym hard, and he's lost a lot of weight too.
He's really been working on himself, and you can clearly see that, and you can tell.
Yeah, so I mean, Randy and Big Show know each other so well. We know they from a very, very long time. They've feuded against each other, and I mean, and overall the match was good.
Exactly.
Randy knew how to take down the Big Show, and knew all his weaknesses. And again, I see, and I said it in one of our first podcasts, and I'm really disappointed in Big Show's career because I felt that it could have been bigger, and the way things are looking out, I see Braun Strowman having the same career as
Big
Show. And one of the reasons is he didn't win the Money in the Bank. He had a failed cash in.
Well, I mean, he won the Money in the Bank, but he didn't have a successful cash in is what he meant. I agree with that. I mean, Big Show, we already know he's an incredible athlete. He's had some of the greatest matches in the WWE. I feel like his career, not that it was wasted, but I do feel that it was underappreciated.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Randy knew, that if he kept the Big Show down, that he was going to end up winning.
Again, that comes from experience. That comes from being smart, knowing your opponent.
Yeah.
And we do know they've known each other for years now, so...
Yeah, and again, Randy Orton qualified, so that makes, for the tournament so far, out South Arabia, John Cena, Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, and Jeff Hardy.
Exactly. Well, I think that's all we have for you guys on this episode of Wrestling with Siblings. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And for those of you that don't know what WWS stand for, Armando, what does WWS stand for?
Wrestling with Siblings. Again, Araceli will be back next week hosting the show. She's been having little issues. She's been kind of
with my voice.
Yeah, as you can tell, she's been kind of sick. So she'll be back next week for sure. If not, I'm here.
He's here to hold it down for you guys. Sorry again that I couldn't really participate. But I hope you guys still enjoyed the show.
Yeah. And thanks again, guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. Anything that you guys would like to hear.
Leave it on the comments below. Tweet us. Instagram us. Whatever.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.